Welcome back, gang. It's Delty from DeltyIsGaming.com, and we're doing the new Undaunted Helms, testing them, showing them off, and talking about the two new sets that come with the next patch. Shadows of the HIst, Elder Scrolls Online, patch 2.5. So, if you want to know, are these sets worthwhile? How do you get them? Where do you get them? And they look really stupid. This is the video for you. Let's talk about them. The first one up, we're going to talk about the tanking set. So in-game I've been focusing more on tanking endgame PvE progression, so this is where my opinion comes from. And, you know, I'm a ZOS fanboy. Nothing they can do is wrong, but I gotta call it like I see it, and I'm extremely disappointed with this set. So this is the tanking set. I can't even pronounce it. Hajimoto. The one piece is pretty strong, adds spell and physical resistance, while the two piece grants you major ward and major resolve. This is my Argonian tank, which I'll unveil today later on, but the major ward and major resolve should already be buffs that you're running on a specific tank. And right now, endgame PvE tanking specifically, the meta is more focused on generating ultimate. So pretty much everyone's using Bloodspawn or a combination of such. Also, Malabeth is very popular. A lot of people have switched over from pure mitigation to more healing based builds, just because the mitigation doesn't seem to be as effective right now than just pure outright self-healing. So Zoffs, if you're watching, we don't need a tanking set that gives you something that's already in the game. We need something that gives us more mitigation. If you look at these together, what Bloodspawn does is gives you more mitigation than this does. Why? Because you can stack these two. So the physical resistance and spell resistance of 450 stacks on top of major resolve and major ward. So when it's proccing, this is hands down the better set. Yes, it has a cooldown, but remember, almost every tank should be running one of these major buffs. Every tank has it in their skill line. Each class does. I'm super disappointed. What tanks need is either resources, more self-healing, or group utility. Most tanks are going to be running Ebony, they're going to be running Bloodspawn, they're going to be running Lunar Bastion, something, but not this. If you want to make tanks more viable, give them something for resources or an added incentive to run a two-piece, not a really crappy two-piece that's just going to give you something you're already going to have in your rotation. Super disappointed. But the next one is not so disappointing. Okay, so next up we got the Poop Ball Helm. Yes, that's what I'm going to coin it. So everyone from now on, please refer to this helm as not the Velidreth mask, but the Poop Ball mask. Essentially, it gives you a one-piece weapon damage. Now, even if you don't want to run the two-piece, it's kind of strong for PvP-minded folks that maybe want to run one Kina and one of this. Now, the two-piece is around 10,000 disease damage and does scale up based on your champion points. So if we go into our champion points here and we look at the ritual for blue, the mighty is disease damage. So that's why that effect is really powerful for PvE-minded stamina DPS. It's also really powerful for PvP because disease adds another effect onto the damage as well, and can be really powerful in PvP. Okay, so right now the tooltip says 12,449 disease damage. Now when I crit earlier, fully buffed, it was 20,000. So let's show you the effect. So I'm going to buff up with the spell power potion, and it's any damage. Okay, so there, that hit for 21.7k on that guy. Now obviously that's not going to be a player because there's different you know, resistances, impenetrable, all sorts of things, but just to give you an idea of how hard it hits and just beating up on a mob, 21k, that's not bad. And PvE, I don't know if this is going to be BIS or best in the slot, and I'll let Gil decide that because he's the math guy. And I really think it's due to the cooldown. This effect can only occur once every 10 seconds. So in PvP, where you want a lot of bursts, a lot of upfront damage, fantastic, because it's whenever you deal damage. The more damage effects you have stacked on top of each other, the more likely this is to proc. So you could run a heavy armor Dragonite dot build and really see some advantages of this. You could also run a Stam Templar build with biting jabs, 4 ticks in a second, and really get the proc rate. So I could see this being used to burn down players in PvP. But that cooldown, I don't think makes it a reliable DPS set for PvE DPS. Right now, a lot of players are using Maphalias, which I don't have on this guy. But essentially, you can do a heavy attack and proc some webs that does damage over time every 8 seconds. But the strength in that set is that it's 100% uptime, because it's triggered by you. The disadvantage of this set is It has a cooldown of 10 seconds. So, like I said, I don't know if this is going to be best in slot. It's pretty cool. I'm going to collect it, and we'll see what some of the other top-end PvE DPS do with it. But right now, it makes a really good one piece. The two piece is really cool and interesting, and so really, I think it's a good set. We'll have to wait and see, but man, those spores are going to knock some people on their booty. The last thing we need to cover is how do you get these sets. The one that I'm wearing, the Stam DPS set, is one of the two of the harder dungeons, and that's down here. Now, obviously, I didn't beat it on this guy. Cradle of Shadows. This is the harder of the two dungeons. And then this Argonian one up here, Runes Mazalton, whatever. You're going to kill me in the comments. That's the other set that gives you spell resistance and physical resistance. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope this helps you guys determine if you want to save them gold keys and get these new sets. But at least one of them is really cool, even though it looks ridiculously ugly.